Do you watch videos of people doing workout in the gym and expect to get fit? No. Do you know how to drive a car simply by watching someone else driving a car on video? No. Then why would you expect to speak English fluently by watching grammar and vocabulary videos on social media? Why would you spend 70-80% of your precious free time that you could spend on learning English watching grammar and vocabulary videos on social media, whether it's short or long form, when we know that watching videos doesn't help you learn a skill like fluency in English? And if you continue relying on social media because that's what you think will help you speak English fluently, you could stay stuck, still hesitate to put sentences together, look for the best words when you communicate because you're watching another person speaking English fluently instead of you practicing the skills you need to speak English fluently. They may watch videos because they want to know the different strategies, but then they take something that they find useful, take all those tips to the gym, apply it, and then build the skills they need to have the muscles or the fitness they want. Social media can be an amazing tool that you could use to learn to speak English more fluently, to significantly improve your listening skills, and to expand your vocabulary and range of grammar that you use. And if you're wondering about how to learn English on social media, it's always about how you use social media to improve the skills that you need so that you could walk into any conversation. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 extremely effective ways that you can use social media so you make real progress with your fluency and start speaking with more comfort and confidence. Hey English learner, my name is Chubby. I'm an English fluency learning and language anxiety coach. Welcome to my channel, a channel for English learners like you who want to learn how to make more vocabulary memorable and speak fluently, confidently, and comfortably in any situation with the help of listening and spoken communication. If you've been wondering how to learn English on social media, if you listen to this first tip, you won't only get an answer to this question, but you'll also be able to have a tool that you could use to activate the vocabulary that you use in conversations about the vocabulary or grammar that you're learning on social media. If you're watching a video on English vocabulary, it's almost like opening up a dictionary and looking at different words. Are you able to speak with more vocabulary like that? Not in the long term. You might be able to understand what the teacher is talking about, what the word or expression or the grammar rule means, but understanding something is completely different from having the skill of knowing how to use an expression or a grammar rule. If you really want to remember vocabulary when you're speaking, listening to an explanation of a word or even looking at just one example sentence isn't going to give you enough information for you to remember those words or expressions or grammar rules in the long term. And this is just one of the many ways that people inside my fluency program, the Proficiency Fortress, have achieved results like the ones you could see on the screen. The quality of attention you pay when you're learning an expression is going to be crucial. Are you having problems with focus and attention because you're using social media so often? That's what I'm talking about. When you find a useful phrase in a vocabulary video in social media, try to remember that paying attention is going to be what helps you learn that word in that moment. So take notes of it in any kind of way, whether it's on paper, whether it's in a flashcard app that I highly recommend you could use, especially if you want to boost your memory, or just simply open up your phone and type it in your notes app. This simple action only takes about 3 seconds, will tell your brain that this is an expression that you really want to focus on and remember in the long term. Then make sure you don't stop there and check a few more examples of how that word is used. And luckily for you, there is an amazing website I use and I recommend to my students all the time, and it's called SKELL. You will be able to see it in the description. And when you're typing in the expression you're trying to learn, SKELL will give you no less than 40 different example sentences that show you how those words are used. So pick a few of them, 3 to 5, look at them, look at how the expression is used in that sentence, so you'll have a better chance of understanding how to use that word the next time you speak English. But before we move on to the second tip that I'm going to share with you on how to learn English on social media effectively, I want you to understand that learning vocabulary is just like using a tool. If you don't know how to use it, you won't use it. And that's exactly why staying at the stage of just watching a video and not doing anything about the vocabulary you see there is a very ineffective way for you to learn vocabulary. I talk more about the most effective ways that you could boost your vocabulary in this video. As you can see, taking a more active part in being on social media instead of just passively consuming content on it can bring you so many benefits and help you build your fluency, which is exactly why I'm inviting you to our free Facebook group of the Build Your Fluency community, where you will get free trainings and discussion groups every week so you can expand your vocabulary, learn to communicate more effectively, and learn more about how to improve the way you learn English, so you no longer have to ask the question how to learn English on social media. Join us using the first link in the description below, and I honestly can't wait to meet you there and help you grow as an English learner. Now, if you take this second tip, you're not only going to be able to use more vocabulary and put together better words, but you will also learn a very effective way for you to remember words in the long term. So you no longer need to hesitate and have to look for words that you want to use when you speak English. Because here's what most people do. They watch a short or long form video on vocabulary or grammar as a way to learn English on social media. And they might like it. Sometimes they leave a comment, save it, and that's it. If you're one of those people who kind of understands the teacher's explanation in that video, but still wonders why you keep forgetting expressions, then what's going to happen 3 minutes or 3 hours or 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years after watching that video? Are you going to remember any of the expressions you learned there? This is one of the most important pieces of learning a language effectively, and why so many people keep asking me how to learn English on social media. This is the one thing that helped me become a fluent and confident speaker of English who no longer needs to look for words and expressions because it's all automatic, and that's repetition. Repetition is the mother of all learning. I mean, when you meet a new person, you need to repeat that name or hear that name multiple times for you to remember that and use it confidently. There's a lot of research in the last century proving that what I'm about to share with you today is one of the most powerful ways for you to remember vocabulary in the long term. An amazing researcher, Robert Bjork, refers to it as a mnemonic technique to maintain access to knowledge in memory. It's called retrieval practice, and all you have to do is test yourself. And I don't mean those horrible tests and exams that you had to do in school. You don't even need to give yourself points or a score like the ones so many people are scared of. It's about using little quizzes for about 15 to 20 minutes a day, where you consciously make an effort to remember vocabulary and bring them back from your memory. This is quite simple, and it's best done using flashcards or flashcard apps like Quizlet, Anki, or my personal favorite, Flashcards Deluxe, and by creating prompts that will help you remember the words that are deep inside your mind. So for example, when you're learning a new expression like get away from a video on social media, make sure you create a short quiz about it on paper or in a flashcard app with the expression on one side and a sentence or the translation of the whole expression on the other. And a sentence could be like, what prisoners do when they escape from a prison. When you practice, look at this side first, and if you remember, shout, get away. Doing this will help you create a connection between the words, where you saw them, how you could use them, And you will be able to use retrieval practice with 100 different new expressions that you could start studying this way. Just like we have to repeat the sets with the dumbbells at the gym multiple times to grow your muscles, we can use the retrieval practice to powerfully remember more words and expressions in context. There are plenty of ways I teach my students inside my program on powerful repetition and reviewing, and I will certainly create an entire video where I'll be explaining to you some of the most effective ways to review language that I have used so that you can find ways to never forget the words and expressions that you're learning. And if you'd like to watch that video, and if you aren't a subscriber yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you get to be the first one to get notified on new language learning content. I left the most important tip for you on how to learn English on social media as my third tip. You know how important it is to pay attention and to improve your focus as a language learner, because the more you pay attention, the more language you can take in. And I love rewarding my viewers with that. And if you stay tuned for this one, I promise you will be able to build a strong foundation of fluency, vocabulary, and you will be able to also speak with more confidence and freedom. Because the thing is, you're flooded, inundated with language content videos. And if you keep watching and focusing on the trendiest, newest, fanciest videos featuring the newest idiom, you will always end up exposing yourself to new vocabulary. And you've just heard how important repetition is for you to remember vocabulary in the long term. But you will also see a bunch of expressions, advanced idioms that you will never ever need in your life. So it's a complete waste of time to watch them. Do yourself a favor and minimize the amount of time you spend learning from social media videos about English, and try to focus on what's useful and necessary and learn from videos in English. There is a difference. You know your life, what's useful and important for you to remember better than anyone, let alone the English teachers you're watching. And if you really want to know the secret to understand how to learn English on social media with caution, if you hear a good expression that you think you could use in the future, then give it all your focus and try to find ways you could use them according to the previous tips that I gave you about it. But less is always more. And I talk more about this in this video. Just like a house without a strong foundation and strong walls, your fluency can easily collapse without focusing on consolidating the basics. As you can see, social media can be an amazing tool that you can tap into and use for your advantage if you learn how to use it well, and if you understand that you could use it as a resource. But English fluency itself is a skill that you can practice by doing it and experiencing it. So if you'd like to learn to speak English fluently faster, remember that you could learn so much more by simply spending half an hour reading a few pages from a book, listening to a podcast at your level, or watching a video or a movie, a series in English. If you'd like to become a fluent speaker of English, you might want to check out some of my other videos that will give you even more insight on how to learn English on social media. As always, stay immersed in English. Make sure you spend more time watching videos in English instead of watching videos about English, and you will see how simply by trusting the process going on in your brain, in just a few months, you will be able to speak English more fluently, improve your listening skills, and expand your vocabulary as well. I can't wait to see you in another video and inside our Facebook group as well. Check out the description below.